midnight.
I'm Rod Serling. You're listening to the Zero Hour.
Suspense. I'm the Whistler.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Who is it?
The Fat Man.
Presents The Man Called X.
The Mysterious Traveler. Another journey into the realm of the strange and terrifying. I hope you will enjoy the trip, that it will thrill you a little and chill you a little. So settle back, get a good grip on your nerves. Where are we going? You'll find out when we get there.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Drama and Theater, brought to you by Duane Old Time Radio. Drama and Theater features some of the best programs from the golden age of radio, including Escape, The Fat Man, Suspense, The Whistler, Zero Hour, Yours Truly Johnny Dollar, and many, many more. Before we start today's drama, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the drama. And thank you for your support, as always. September is upon us, which means CBS Radio Mystery Theater is upon us. First episode, A Sacrifice in Blood, first aired March 12th, 1974. Second episode, A Little Night Murder, which first aired March 13th, 1974.
The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of your own terrifying imagination. It has been said that we are prisoners in a dark closet with small openings that on occasion admit some light. Small wonder that the demons who lurk in the deepest corners are more real to us than the sweet light of reason outside. There is so much evil in our world that light turns naturally to shadow. Even the love of Stephen and Amelia Stampler for their son Michael is converted to suspicion in this dark closet we live in.
Reverend Stokes, I don't want a theological debate. I want you to tell your congregation the truth.
And what is that, Dr. Stampler?
That my son Michael conducts his lab experiments for scientific purposes.
And shall I ask them to believe in coincidence?
What coincidence?
That a peaceful town is ripped apart every time your son returns. That cattle die for no reason at all. That we are suffering epidemics and the worst drought in our history. All because of coincidence?
Yes. This is the 20th century. What else could it be?
Ask your son, Dr. Stampler. Ask your son, Michael, if he's just doing lab experiments.
Our mystery drama, A Sacrifice in Blood, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Milt Wisoff and stars Patricia Roe and Ralph Bell. It is sponsored in part by the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. I'll be back shortly with Act 1. And now it is time to turn to the macabre and nightmare world where there is no shortage of blood. Our Our tale opens on a pleasant enough note in a fashionable restaurant where Dr. and Mrs. Stampler are celebrating a special occasion. But I promise you, it will end in true Gothic horror.
Not another drop, Stephen. I've had my fill, and so have you.
I suppose you're right, my dear, but this is really so special. One more dig and the Stamplers hang up their shovels.
Oh, not really. But we'll be digging up flower beds and compost heaps instead of ancient grave sites. No regrets?
None, my dear. We should have retired years ago.
Then why not now? I mean, what can this one dig mean?
Well, it will be a fitting climax to our career in it. Perhaps the most significant find of our lifetime. Professor Starulius agrees with me. The last excavations there indicate a pre-Toltec civilization existed that was not completely archaic. Highly sophisticated people.
Who worship the devil.
Well, why not? Most of us still do. Black masses are held in California. Covens of witches gather in New Mexico. Blood rites take place in the shadows of New York skyscrapers.
Oh, nonsense. You've had too much wine.
Oh, too much wine. I haven't had enough. Come, Amelia. Let's toast the occasion. To a splendid find.
To a safe return.
Dr. Stampler.
Yes.
I am Professor Sarulius.
Oh, thank you for meeting us. This is my wife, Amelia.
My great pleasure.
It's very nice of you.
Not at all. Oh, here, let me put your bags in, please. Will you get in?
I can't tell you how I've looked forward to meeting you, Professor.
Miguel, if you please. And I am honored by the opportunity of working with so eminent a scientist.
And I would be delighted to have a nice hot bath and about 3 days of uninterrupted slumber. Oh, planes are almost as uncomfortable after 10 hours of flight as the small donkeys we rode to the Shenandoah site.
The Toltecs have always been regarded as the earliest civilization in the Americas. The new finds at Acapulco may show one much heavier still.
You really believe it was a civilization?
Oh, most certainly. Not by our standards, perhaps, but certainly in its day. You shall have the opportunity to see for yourselves. We leave at 5 a.m. Monday morning.
But that's 3 days away. Why the delay?
There is much preparation, including the paperwork. You shall get some rest, and I will have the pleasure of acting as your host, if you will permit it.
Of course. And forgive my impatience. Who's there?
It is I, Miguel.
Just a second.
Forgive me. I know it is late, but it was necessary for me to see you.
Oh, that's all right. Come on in. We weren't in bed yet.
What is it?
I am afraid I have bad news for you. We will have to postpone our trip.
Why?
There is word of trouble in the mountains where the site is.
But what kind of trouble?
Oh, nothing serious, but it will cause us some delay.
Why didn't you tell us sooner?
I just learned it, Stephen, when I returned to my room.
How long will the delay be?
That is hard to say.
What kind of trouble is it, Miguel?
An Indian has been found. Murdered. It was a ritual killing. His skin has been removed.
Oh, God.
Well, we still get back to the basic question, Miguel. How long will we be delayed?
Then you're still bent on going?
Well, of course, Amelia. A native killing isn't going to stop me. I've encountered worse on other digs. Well, answer me, Miguel.
Perhaps you should forget it, Stephen.
Oh, come on, now, both of you. I'm not going to change my plans.
If you insist, we will continue, but I must warn you, it will be difficult to assemble a crew.
But not impossible.
No, not impossible if we pay enough. There is always someone who will take a risk if the inducement is great enough.
I guess you're right, Miguel. See what you can do.
Then you'll go along with me?
I wouldn't miss it for the world.
They're not making much headway, Miguel. Can't they dig any faster?
We are up very high, Stephen. More than 10,000 feet. It is not conducive to strenuous exertion.
They didn't display too much zeal on the climb, either.
Well, they're not used to the altitude.
Why didn't we get men who are?
But you know the answer. No one else would come. You haven't seen anyone else since we got up here. They know better.
They have broken through to a new chamber.
Well, I hope it's more fruitful than the last one. Let's go take a look.
Look there. They have an opening wide enough to go through.
May I?
Of course. This is your excavation, Stephen.
Are you all right?
Yes. Come on in.
My God. It's so still in here.
Even echoes die after thousands of years.
We seem to be in the anteroom. I imagine the main chamber is just through those doors.
It would appear so.
Get the men in here. We've got to get those doors open, and it looks like one heck of a job.
Siga pronto.
No quiero entrarlo.
Siga.
No.
Siga pronto.
No.
Well, what are they waiting for?
They will not enter.
Well, tell them they'll get docked if they're not in here pronto.
It is no use. They will not come.
All right, then we'll get the doors open by ourselves. Let's see how thick they are. Throw me a hammer, will you? It's pretty solid, Miguel.
Steve, look.
The doors are opening. How?
Oh, perhaps Stephen struck some kind of a trigger mechanism by accident.
Well, never mind how. It'll save us some sweat, that's all.
Stephen, please, be careful. There's something here that makes me...
I will go ahead.
Not on your life, Miguel. This is one big step I'm going to take. Come on, follow me. Good Lord. It's an enormous chamber. It's like a giant cathedral. Bring the lamps up.
That door. It's cut in a single block.
Oh, yes. It must weigh at least 10 tons.
Look at the bas-reliefs on the walls.
It is the devil that these people worshipped.
Beautiful. Sinister, malevolent, but beautiful. Bring the lamps forward. What is it, Amelia?
The skulls! There's piles of brilliant skulls!
We have found what we are looking for. The sacrificial chambers of the temple.
Yes, you're right, Miguel. Can you make out these inscriptions?
I see, yes. They tell the story of the ritual. These were incense burners where human hearts smoked. The skulls piled at the base of that enormous slab of stone were sacrificed on that altar.
What's that?
Well, Miguel just described it, my dear. The stone slab was the altar.
No, I mean in the center of the altar.
Probably the debris of centuries.
I just saw something stir. It's a baby.
Huh? Completely naked.
On that cold stone. Oh, a poor child. Now. There now. Oh, he's lovely. He's so warm.
Well, how could he be warm? It's so cold and damp in here.
Well, he must have been left here a few minutes ago.
Well, perhaps someone left him as a warning to us.
But impossible. There is no other entrance beside the stone doors, not even windows. This was the sacrificial chamber of these ancient people.
Well, then how, Miguel?
I don't know. And I'm afraid the answer, if we ever find it, will not be pleasant.
Well, at least whoever left him had sense enough to leave some protection. There's a woven mat on the altar.
See? And that is one of the mysteries that troubles me.
What are you saying, Miguel?
The fabric the child is lying on. Examine it.
Yes. Yes, I see what you mean.
It was woven when the temple was new.
When a bright star appears in the east, and a child is born, there is a season of celebration. But when a child appears on a sacrificial slab of the temple of an ancient people who worship the devil, what will the season bring? We live by the philosophy that no one is born evil, that only time and circumstance can corrupt the innocence of an infant. And yet, deep within us, we feel some doubt when monsters arise. What made Cain? Was Adolf Hitler or Jack the Ripper ever a clean slate? Why should we not wonder even stronger when a child appears out of nowhere in the temple of Satan?
Well, I am not happy to see you leave, my friends.
We'll miss you too, Miguel.
Oh, that of course, but I wish you had not decided to adopt the baby and take him with you. I would have preferred you to leave him here with me until I could ascertain what his origins are.
I think he's right, Amelia. There's still time to change our minds.
Oh, no. We fought harder to take him with us than those artifacts from the chamber. I'm not going to give him up now. What difference does it make where our son came from or who left him there? He's a perfectly normal baby, and he means more to me than the trophies we're carrying off.
Well, if you have made your minds up, then all I can say is via con Dios. I am very delighted that you both have what you wish. Stephen, your find will have an historical impact.
Our find, Miguel, would have been impossible without you.
And my gratitude for helping us with the baby. We've named your godchild Michael for you.
Ah, a great honor, Emil.
You'll keep trying to trace his parents?
Yes, if that is what you wish.
Don't try too hard, Miguel. It doesn't matter where he came from. We're all he needs from now on.
I hope you are right, Emilia.
Stamper here. Oh, no. I'm sorry. That will have to wait. And look, another thing, don't set up any more interviews. My wife and I have had it. All right, I'll let you know. Right.
Don't be so short with Conrad. He's only trying to promote your book.
I know he is, Amelia, but we're entitled to some privacy. We've been back home for almost a year now, and I'm sick of interviews and publicity. The people poking around here.
Oh, you know you don't mean that. You're positively glowing with success.
Yeah.
You proved your theory about the pre-Celtic people, the influence they had on earlier civilizations, and, well, just look at the results. Academic honors and, the fantastic sale of your books on the expedition. This year has been good for you, Steve.
Well, of course it has, Amelia, but if we hadn't gone on that bloody trip, we'd have some peace at least.
We wouldn't have Michael.
Well, no, you're right, my dear. Oh, he's quite a handful for a kid his age. Only a year old. He's been walking for months.
And he's such a good-looking child. He's so well-behaved.
Oh, too well-behaved. You know, it's scary. He hardly makes any sounds at all.
Oh, count your blessings. Our neighbors envy us so. They want to know how I discipline Michael. He's such an angel. Doesn't need any discipline.
Well, maybe he doesn't, but I do. I've got to finish my notes for the lecture tour. Are you sure you won't come with me, Amelia?
Well, who'd look after Michael?
Well, Karen. She's perfectly capable.
Oh, nonsense. I mean, you'll be gone a month. And he needs me.
So do I.
Oh, don't tell me you're jealous.
Oh, no. But I am disturbed. You've got to give a little, Em. Don't try to smother him. It's no good for either of you.
Stephen, well, I didn't expect you home so soon.
It's Michael's birthday, so I thought I'd be early.
I was taking a sentimental journey back through the years with Michael's birthday books. Here he is at 2.
Yes, I remember. We took him to the zoo, and he was fascinated.
Here he is a year ago. 5 years old, growing like a weed.
Oh, that reminds me. What can I do to help with the festivities?
Oh, nothing. Just relax.
Where's Mike?
Well, I sent him out to play.
On his birthday? I don't understand. What's wrong, Amelia?
Nothing.
The party's off? No one's going to show up? Is that it?
Oh, who cares?
Well, you do for one. Why aren't they coming?
Because we have stuffy neighbors with stuffy children. I just think it's time we moved.
Oh, they're all out of step, hmm?
That's right. Take their side.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Em, I'm not taking any side. I just want to know... Well, he tears butterflies apart, yanks legs off frogs.
Well, he's inherited your scientific curiosity.
Oh, you know that's impossible.
Well, I mean, you set an example for him.
Level with me, would you? What happened between Michael and the Fielding child?
Nothing. I told you.
All right, then you don't mind if I call them and straighten this out?
You go ahead and call. You'll agree. It's a tempest in a teapot.
I'd rather hear it from you, Em. Sarah? This is Stephen Stampler. Well, yes, I know. I read your note. Well, can you tell me why? Michael did what? Are you sure? I see. Yes, I know how you feel. And, thanks for being direct. Bye.
Well?
I just don't understand.
Curiosity. It's simple, childish curiosity. Children try to discover the world around them. They smell, taste, feel.
They hurt?
Well, yes, sometimes they hurt. Not out of malice.
Try to be honest, Em. How would you feel if you were Sarah Fielding?
I hope I'd have the good sense to take things in stride.
Would you? I can't believe it's you, Amelia. You've lost all sense of objectivity.
You've lost all sense of proportion. Are you trying to cast Michael as a monster?
I'd like to understand him, but I think I need help. And so does he. Amelia? Oh, there you are. How are the silver bells?
Fine. But the cockle shells are a bit droopy, and so am I.
Oh, nonsense.
Very gallant, Stephen. But age is beginning to catch up. I don't know where the last 10 years have disappeared. Seems only yesterday that Michael was 6, entering school for the first time. Now he's almost grown. 17. Oh, my, you look handsome today. You're even wearing a tie.
Yes, so I have.
What's the occasion?
We have a friend in town. Old Ceruvius.
Oh, I didn't know he was in the States.
Well, neither did I. He's consulting with the museum people, and he'd like to see us. I asked him out to lunch.
Oh, that was thoughtful.
Now, there's no need to fuss, Amelia.
Of course not. I'll get the soil off my hands and throw something together if Miguel doesn't mind. I certainly don't.
Well, thank you, Anne. Is there anything I can get from town for you?
No, just hurry back.
Ceruvius is dying to see Mike. What time is Mike due here?
Oh, dear, I forgot to tell you. There was a letter from Michael in the morning mail. He's staying at the academy through the holidays.
Well, that's odd. Did he say why?
Well, he wants to catch up with some school work, and there's an experiment going in the lab. He just can't leave.
Well, that's too bad. Miguel was looking forward to a visit with Mike. He made quite a point of it.
This is quite a machine. It sounds like my coffee grind.
It's reliable transportation, Miguel, despite the noise it makes.
And how is the boy?
Well, very well. And so is Amelia. You look fit.
I should be. I still clamber over rocks like a mountain goat and dig interminable tunnels.
Have you found anything more at the old digs?
Enough to verify your findings. But one thing we never discovered.
No trace of Mike's parents, eh?
No. I have shown the pictures you sent me to every man, woman, and child in the region. Nothing. Well, how is he getting on?
He seems to like it at the academy. As a matter of fact, things are going so well there, he won't be home for the holidays. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's too bad. I must see him. Perhaps I still can.
Well, he's not due home until the summer vacation.
In that case, Mohammed must go to the mountain.
That's quite a trip.
Not to see a godchild.
Well, here we are. We're here at last.
Miguel, how nice to see you again.
It is always a pleasure, dear Emilia. Oh, you look more enchanting than ever.
Oh, thank you. You're so good for my ego. I have drinks set on the terrace. Would you like to unpack first?
No, I think not. A drink would be fine, and then I must be going.
But you just arrived. I prepared lunch. We haven't seen you in years. Too many years.
I know, but I may get a chance to stop in before I go home.
What made you change your mind?
He's going to visit Mike. Aren't you, old friend?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, he'll be delighted, as we are disappointed.
I hope so. It would be nice to feel wanted by a godchild I have not seen since he was an infant.
I'm sure he'd love to see you. He keeps asking about you all the time.
You can feel flattered, Miguel. You seem to be the only human being he has any interest in.
Yeah, besides you and Emilia.
Of course. That's a strange thing to say.
Oh, you must forgive me. I have not been in civilized company for ages. My conversation is a little, how do you say it?
Rusty?
Exactly. My bones and my speech are undoubtedly growing rusty. That is why I want to see him on this trip. I may never have the opportunity again.
Could you get that, Stephen?
I'm just finishing the shelf, dear.
Very well. Michael, I don't understand.
No hello? Should I go out and start over again?
Oh, it's not silly. Hello, darling.
That's more like it.
Stephen, it's Michael.
Mike!
I know. Mother had the same reaction. I just got through sooner than I thought I would, so I rushed home.
Put your bags in your room, and I'll fix something to eat.
You look well, Dad.
Why shouldn't I? Leisure is good for the thinking classes. Oh, you look a bit drawn. Are they pushing you?
No, I'm pushing myself. There's so much to do. What's new?
Your godfather paid us a visit. He wanted to see you.
Well, here I am.
Well, you had to leave. Obviously, he didn't get to see you at the academy.
No. I didn't even know he planned to make the trip.
Oh, that's odd. He said he would go to the academy directly.
We must have crossed paths.
Oh, excuse me, Mike. Hello. Yes, this is Dr. Stephen Stamler. Would you mind reading it? What? Would you read that again, please? Oh, my God.
What is it, dear?
It's a wire from the academy. They found Serubius.
Found him?
Yes. Miguel is dead.
Michael? Michael? Are you home?
He's out, Amelia. His car's gone.
Strange. He seemed under the weather this morning.
Well, he didn't want to attend the funeral.
Oh, nonsense. He just wasn't feeling well.
You still believe that act after all these years? You know, he's always avoided unpleasantness that way.
Well, it was unpleasant, Stephen. An old friend to go that way.
All right, Anne. It's all over.
What could have done it?
You mean who, Em?
No, I don't. Nothing human could have been responsible for Miguel's death.
I wonder.
You wonder what, Dad?
Where did you come from, Michael? You startled me.
I was in the garage. My fan belt's loose. I was tightening it.
You should have come to the funeral.
What for? I never saw Professor Serubius.
He was your godfather. You were his namesake.
I wasn't feeling so hot anyway. I thought I was coming down with something.
How do you feel now?
Better, I think.
You look healthy enough to me.
Well, that doesn't mean a thing. I'll put the tea up, and then it's off to bed with you.
She still thinks you're a child, Mike.
I know. I want to talk to you, Dad. That's why I came home from school.
All right, shoot.
I really don't know what I want to do. I think I've had the academy.
But you said you liked it there. You're doing well?
I know, but I can't make the scene there anymore.
Too much work?
No, not really. I'm just not on to some of the stuff I've got to handle there. The creeps in Fairmount are still living in the 17th century. They'd have witch burning if the law didn't forbid it.
What's that got to do with you?
Well, some of my experiments have got them on the warpath.
How about you were working in the physical sciences?
Well, not exactly. I've been going beyond that.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, ESP. You've always felt I had it.
Well, that's not considered supernatural today.
Yeah, I know, but the townies think it is.
Well, that's all the fuss. I think you should stay on. It never pays to bow down to ignorance.
I'm glad you see it that way, Dad.
Oh, but there's more, isn't there, huh?
What do you know about my people? Where I come from?
Not too much.
How about Serubius?
Well, he thought he was on to something. He was on his way to talk to you about it.
Too bad we missed each other.
Did you?
Well, of course. I told you I was on my way back here when I heard...
That's not exactly what happened, Mike. He called me from the airport when he landed.
What did he say?
I don't know. Amelia and I were out. He left a message with our answering service. He said he was going right out to see you. That he had phoned ahead.
I never heard from him.
And that if anything happened, there was a letter that he was mailing to us.
Well, then you did hear from him. By mail, at least.
We never received the letter. Did you?
Now you're accusing me of tampering with your mail?
I'm only asking, Michael.
Do you really think I saw Serubius that night?
Did you, Mike?
You're as bad as the townspeople. What do you want to hear? A full confession? Oh, okay. I saw the old man. I killed him. Is that enough? Or do you want me to invent the gory details, too?
Fear can be a force for good or evil. It can keep us from harm, or it can be a malignancy that feeds on darkness and ignorance. Is Mike a victim of rumor and coincidence, or is he truly evil? There is a peculiar kind of fear we call courage that makes us go on when all we want to do is find peace and shelter. It makes men who fear heights climb mountains. Soldiers who detest war and suffering advance on bloody battlefields. Some call it pride rather than courage. Choose now. Retreat now and regret it, or go on with me to Act 3.
Mark, I've just heard from the police. They're still running down leads on the murder of Serubius, but they admit it seems hopeless.
Too bad. Did you ever get the letter he said he mailed you?
No, I don't know what happened.
Neither do I.
How are you doing in the workshop?
I don't know. Thank God frogs are such fast breeders. I killed them off so fast.
No results?
Only with our neighbors. They seem to connect my frogs with everything bad that's happening. The Gilmore child comes down with meningitis, my frogs are responsible. The drought and the unusual heat, the salmonella outbreak, all part of my wicked machinations. How would you like to come out of retirement, both of you?
What do you mean?
I'd like to go back to the place you found me, to see if I can trace my origins. Maybe I'll find myself then.
Well, I don't know, Mike. I just hadn't thought about it.
Well, then don't. Let's just do it.
Oh, what on earth?
It's a gift from our loving neighbors.
It's a brick.
There's a note attached to it. Let me see that, Mike. This is your last warning. Leave or we will send you back to the hell where you belong.
They're not all clods after all. Someone has imagination and a gift of expression.
This is no laughing matter, Mike. I'm going to find out who's responsible for this outrage.
Dr. Stempler, delighted to see you.
I think we can do without the formalities, Reverend Stokes. I just want some answers.
Yes, so do I. I haven't seen you in church for quite a while.
You're very fortunate. I didn't attend last week. I don't think you'd care for my reaction to your sermon.
Oh, then you don't believe in the presence of Satan?
No, I don't. All I know is what that kind of talk leads to.
Oh, the brick, you mean. I'm sorry about that.
Well, yes, you should be. You've got these farmers half insane with your superstitious prattle.
Some say that about religion.
I wonder why.
All right, let's not get sidetracked, Reverend Stokes. I don't want a theological debate. I want you to tell your congregation the truth.
And what is that, Dr. Stempler?
That my son Mike raises frogs for his lab experiments.
Shall I tell them to believe in coincidence?
What coincidence?
That a peaceful town is ripped apart every time your son returns. That cattle die for no reason at all. That we are suffering epidemics and the worst drought in our history. All because of coincidence?
Yes, you tell them that. This is the 20th century. What else could it be?
Ask your son, Dr. Stempler. Ask him if he's just doing lab experiments.
I told you, Dad, I'm going back where you found me, with or without you.
Mike, that is foolish. Ceruvius excavated for years but found nothing. What makes you think you can?
Because I was born to it and Ceruvius was not. He was contaminated by Spanish blood. My lines are pure. I need to find my way to another world. Will you come with me?
You're not serious, Mike.
I've got to go, Mother. I thought you'd understand.
Well, I do. I just want you to think things through a little longer. Go back to school. Just finish this semester, and then we'll all go back. I promise you.
That makes sense, Mike. It's only a few months. What do you say?
Okay, but I won't let you stall me past then.
I think my word is good enough.
It is, Dad.
Then, that's settled. Now, why don't you take Dad out for a walk? This room needs cleaning and airing.
Are you implying?
Not at all. I'm stating it quite clearly. Either I clean this place now or I'll send in some goats to keep you company tonight. Now, shoot.
Okay, I'll go. How about the keys to the car?
I thought we were going for a walk.
Take a rain check. I'd like to drive into the city.
I'll be my guest. Here.
Just drive carefully.
Don't worry. I'll be back for dinner.
Can I give you a hand, Amelia?
I don't think so, Stephen. My, this place is dusty.
I'll empty the trash basket for you.
Just dump things in the plastic bag.
Don't you feed Mike, Amelia?
Of course I do.
Look at all these hamburger wrappings.
Well, I think he feeds his frogs with them.
Oh, no.
What's wrong, Stephen? You're as white as a sheet.
Yeah. This piece of paper.
Well, what is it?
It's part of an envelope, Amelia. The one that contained the letter Ceruvius wrote to us.
Oh, my God. But why didn't I...
Destroy the letter? That's what I'm wondering, too. And I don't like the answer I get. Hello. Yes, this is Dr. Stempler. He what? Can't be. We'll be right over. Yes, but I want to see my son.
What is it, Stephen?
What? Stokes. I don't want to see him. I want to see my son. Hello. Hello. He hung up.
What happened?
Mike. They're looking for him.
What for?
They claim he's killed someone.
I don't believe it. What, with the car? I mean, with an accident?
It was no accident. They found Claire Baxter dead.
What's that got to do with Mike?
They claim he was seen near the place where the body was found.
Where's Mike now?
He's disappeared. They found our car in the ravine.
Oh, no.
I'll go see.
Good evening.
Yes, Reverend Stokes, what is it?
May I come in?
No, you may not. Now clear out of here.
What's wrong with you, Stephen? Please come in, Reverend.
Thank you, Mrs. Stapler. I know it's painful, but I must talk to you.
What is there to talk about?
Your son. I tried to reach you before with facts, but you wouldn't listen.
Well, why should I, of all these silly nonsense?
No nonsense this time, I'm afraid. Your son has committed murder.
Just because he was seen near where the girl was found, I'll bet half the
town
would have been
there. No one else in town would kill the way Claire was slaughtered.
Please, I don't want to hear any more.
Can we just sit quietly and wait?
For what?
For your son to return.
And then what?
Then we'll do what must be done.
You won't wait here.
Now be sensible. There are men just beyond this door. I would prefer to do this as reasonably as possible.
Do what?
Just ask him a few questions, Mrs. Sampler. Now, please let me handle this. Or would you prefer mob violence?
Ask your questions, Stokes. I'm here.
Run, Mike. Save yourself.
Not yet. I've got a score to settle with old Nosy.
Sit down, Michael. It's all over for you.
For you, meddler.
No, Asmodeus, your time has come.
Asmodeus?
Asmodeus, Satan, whatever you call yourself. Sit down and answer my questions.
I'll change my mind. I'll answer your questions if you catch me.
Stop him, Stephen. Please don't let him go.
No, Amelia, don't worry. Stokes will never get him. Neither will that mob. He's on his way back.
Back? Where?
Where we found him, Amelia. In the sacrificial chamber. Seruvia said someday Mike would return. Just a while longer, Amelia.
I'm all right, Stephen. Do you think we'll find him?
He wanted so badly to find his way back. He must be here.
I'm glad he got away from the mob.
I'm not so sure about that. I pieced together Serubius' letter from the scraps in the wastebasket. It explains a great deal. Michael was not just an ordinary Indian child abandoned by his parents. The tribes have a legend about the pure-born son of kings who is sacrificed for his people.
Do you think Michael?
I don't know, Amelia. I don't know what to believe anymore.
There's a light in the chamber ahead.
I know. Hold this lantern, Amelia. Hold it high.
Don't come any closer.
Michael. Oh, thank God we found you.
Where are you, Mike? Boy, we believe in you. We trust you.
Stay where you are. Do as I tell you.
We want to help you.
Then leave. That's the best you can do for me. You kept me from my destiny when you took me from this tomb. Let me fulfill it now.
We love you, Michael. Please save yourself.
Hold the lantern higher, Amelia.
What is it?
There's a child, Em. There's a baby on the altar where we found Mike.
It's Michael. Oh, my God. It's Michael.
It can't be.
Yes, I remember every detail.
Stay back. Stay back, Amelia. Don't come any closer. It's a child on the altar. It's Mike. Someone Well, something is standing over it. Oh, no. Oh, no. I can't believe it. The chainsaw. Oh, God, no.
Michael. Oh, Michael.
It's too late, Amelia. It's all over now. Whoever it was has disappeared, Amelia. He's gone.
A child is born, becomes a man, then dies. The natural order of things. No one can upset it. But not in the case of Michael Stampler, or whatever his true name was. He was plucked out of antiquity by accident and returned there by desire. Our cast included Patricia Roe, Ralph Bell, Don Scardino, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The preceding Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network. Your dial is set for 15 minutes of late news with John Scott reporting. This is WOR New York, an RKO General Station, your station for news as it happens.
Brought to you in part by True Value Hardware, your store of first choice.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of your own terrifying imagination. There are people who suddenly find themselves tortured and taunted by a fragile wisp of a memory. It's the memory of something they may have said or something they think they did. Exactly what it was has been long forgotten. But now it must be paid for. And the price? Life itself.
Yes?
Are you Mrs. Louise Goodman?
That's right.
Are you sure?
Why, of course I'm sure.
It's just that I don't want to make a mistake.
I'm Mrs. Louise Goodman. Who are you? And what is it you want?
I want to keep my promise.
Promise? What promise?
I promised I'd kill you. Remember?
Our mystery drama, A Little Night Murder, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Tony Roberts. I'll be back shortly with Act One. Downtown at night, the city is a deserted place. The lofty office buildings, those gleaming towers of glass and steel, stand quiet, empty and foreboding, like ancient temples. And like the ancient temples, they also have their priestesses. These are the ladies who enter at night with mops and brooms and vacuum cleaners to clear away the debris of the day's worship and purify the offices for tomorrow's rituals. We are concerned now with one of these, a sturdy, middle-aged woman named Mary Margaret Cannon. Steady, hard-working, no nonsense.
But on this Friday evening, something seems amiss. Mary Margaret is pale. She's nervous. And every now and then she stops working and just listens.
Someone there? Oh.
Hello?
Terry, I'm scared.
Scared? You? Oh, now, Mary, what did you be scared of?
I don't know. It's these murders.
Murders?
These women who've been getting killed.
Well, I'll come and stay with you if you want.
Oh, please. I'm so nervous, so jumpy. I'm so scared.
Yeah, but why?
I just don't know. Terry.
Yes?
I hear someone coming.
Are you sure?
I hear someone. Terry.
I'll hang up and call the police.
Oh, no, don't. It's just the guard.
Yeah, you see? Now, is everything okay?
Oh, yeah. Look, you just forget I called and get your rest. Oh, good evening, Tom. Oh, you're not Tom.
No. I'm the new man, Mrs. Cannon.
Oh, well, what happened to Tom?
He called in earlier today. He said he was sick. They sent me down to relieve him.
How'd you know my name?
Oh, Tom told me. I asked him, who's in the building tonight, and he said, just Mrs. Cannon.
But
what?
But Tom doesn't know my last name any more than I know his. We're just Mary and Tom. How did you know?
Why shouldn't I know your last name? You know mine.
How? How would I know your last name?
It's Jackson. Remember? Little Peter Jackson.
I never saw you before in my life.
Oh, you did. Yes, you did.
What do you want?
I want to keep my promise.
What promise?
I promised I'd kill you.
Why do you want to kill me?
You don't remember? Well, let me refresh your memory, Mary Margaret Cannon. 23 years ago, you lived on Baxter Street, and one morning you walked into a little grocery store. Now you remember. You have exactly 30 seconds to live.
Oh, please don't kill me, please.
You should be saying your prayers.
But I told the truth.
If it was the truth, then God will forgive you. Pray, Mary Margaret Cannon. Pray.
Oh, listen. My husband and I, we have a little money put aside.
And I know exactly how you got it.
You can have it. All of it. Only don't
pray. Pray, Mary Margaret.
Jackson! Peter Jackson! Maybe 30 years old, tall, thin, blonde.
Don't shout. No one can hear you.
They'll hear me. They'll arrest you and hang you. His name is Jackson. Jackson, Peter Jackson. Oh, no, don't. They'll catch you, Peter. They'll catch you.
Number 4. Mrs. Mary Margaret Cannon. Number 5, coming up, Miss Alice Maitland.
Captain Blake. Yes, Commissioner. Commissioner, I understand you. Listen, if you think somebody else can run it better, then get somebody else. I agree, sir. Yes, sir. No need for any of us to blow his stack. Absolutely, sir. Yes, I'll keep you informed. Wow, you got a pretty good one here. Is this your first mad killer assignment, Lou?
Yeah, I guess so, Captain.
Mad killers, mad bombers, mad stranglers, you name it. You get one every 10, 15 years. You can count on it. You get a rash of absolutely senseless killings. No motive, no rhyme, no reason.
Should we talk to her husband again?
What for? All he's going to tell us is what a great lady she was and how neither of them ever had any enemies.
Captain Blake, just suppose it isn't a mad killer.
4 murders in 11 days. Number 1, Mrs. Martha Denson, shot while parking her car late at night.
Number 2, Mrs. Janet Drew, shot in her backyard. Number 3, Mrs. Louise Goodman, shot in her apartment. Number 4, this cleaning lady, shot while at work.
Well, could there be a connection? Did they have something in common?
There's no pattern. None of them knew each other as far as we can make out, or even had anything in common.
Yeah, that we know of.
It's the toughest situation in our business. A mad killer.
Okay, he's a mad killer. Every killer is mad. But does this one have a method to his madness?
Yeah. He uses a .38 caliber revolver and shoots women.
The last one, Mrs. Cannon, that's the problem.
What kind of problem?
Well, he's a mad killer, you say, so he wanders around, and if he gets a chance, he'll kill. He sees a woman alone in a parking lot.
1230 WCOL.
He sees Mrs. Drew in her backyard. He shoots her. He sees Mrs. Gooden alone in her apartment. He shoots her. Okay, how do you account for Mrs. Cannon?
You're dealing with a madman, Lou. You can't account for anything he does.
All right, 3 women are targets of opportunity. They happened along, or he happened along, and that was it. But he went out of his way to kill Mrs. Cannon. Look, he had to slug the night watchman. He had to take the elevator up 12 stories to find her. It means he wasn't just out to kill any woman. He wanted that woman. Why?
That's good thinking, Lou. And if this were almost any other kind of case... Blake. What? Oh, no. Not another one. Okay, all right. Send her in. Did they tell you about nuts while you were getting your college degree? This one coming in sounds like a 14-carat nut to me.
Captain Blake?
Yes, I'm Captain Blake. This Detective Parker.
How do you do?
Huh?
I'm Miss Maitland, Alice Maitland. I own a bookshop on 3rd Street, and... well, it's about the murders.
Do you know anything about the murders, Miss Maitland?
I know who's going to be killed next.
You do? Who?
Me.
Why do you say that?
I have a premonition.
I see.
I know what you gentlemen must be thinking. You're convinced I'm a hysterical woman or a crank.
No, but
Miss Maitland, do you have any enemies?
I don't know of any.
Well, we know there's a homicidal maniac loose. It's true he may strike at anyone.
That's not why I'm here. I know he's going to strike at me.
Well, what reason would anyone have for killing you?
What reason was there for killing those other women?
You say your shop is on 3rd Street. I'll see that the officer on the beat keeps an eye on the place.
Yes. I just thought I should tell you. That's all anyone can do, I suppose. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Maitland.
Now, Lou, you have just conversed with an authentic member of the Nut Club.
I don't know about that, Captain.
She's a charter member. She belongs to the I'm the Next Victim chapter.
I still say she's not a nut.
Maybe not. Maybe she's just some poor little dame half scared out of her wits.
Oh, she was calm. She was very calm. As a matter of fact, it's as if she knows what she's talking about.
May I help you? Oh.
Hello. Remember me?
Yes. You're one of the detectives I spoke with.
Yeah, Lou Parker. Tell me why you came to police headquarters with a story that, well, rationally, it doesn't make sense. You said as much yourself. You felt that you had made yourself seem somewhat ridiculous. But now, well, forget all that. I'm willing to assume that your story is true, that you really are next on the list.
Then you do believe me?
I'm willing to accept what you say, but you have to help me. Does anyone have a motive for wanting to kill you?
No.
You never did or said anything that may have hurt someone?
I can't remember.
A disappointed boyfriend?
I never really disappointed anyone that way.
And yet you insist someone wants to kill you.
I know it sounds ridiculous.
There's a reason for feeling the way you do. If only we could uncover that reason.
Excuse me, that's my phone. Hello? 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 Hello?
Miss Maitland?
Yes.
What is it? You seem rather pale.
Oh?
What happened?
When I picked up the phone, there was just a click on the other end, as if someone had just hung up.
Well, why should that seem to upset you?
Well, because it's happened before.
It has?
Yes.
Frequently? I mean, often enough so that it really isn't just an accident?
3, 4, perhaps 5 times a day.
When did it start?
Oh, I'd say about 2 weeks ago. I remember it happened 3 times the night the first of those women was murdered.
Well, why didn't you tell us this before?
I didn't think it was anything important.
May I use your phone?
It's back there in the office.
Okay, I'll only be a moment.
May I help you?
Yes. Is your name Alice Maitland?
Yes. Can I do anything for you?
Well, you see, I came here because I have to keep a certain promise I made.
Say what you will about this young man. He has at least one redeeming feature. His word seems to be as good as his bond. But will he be able to keep this particular promise? This problem will be our primary concern when we return shortly with Act 2. At one time, a young man named Peter Jackson has made the same promise to several women. A promise that he would kill them. So far, he has kept his promise 4 times. Now, he is in a bookshop owned by a Miss Maitland, apparently ready to fulfill promise number 5.
I came here because I have to keep a certain promise I made.
You made a promise?
Oh, yes. And I came here to keep my word.
Miss Maitland, I think... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you had a customer.
What sort of promise are you talking about?
I had promised a special person I would buy her a book. And I came in here to...
Any particular type of book?
Yeah. Yes, a good murder mystery.
Oh, well, we have the latest Jonathan Merriweather novel.
No, I don't dig him. Nothing happens. You got anything by Mike Stilson? Now, there's a guy who really writes murders. I mean, he kills somebody every other page.
Oh, we're sold out on the latest. It's called Blood on the Street.
Yeah, that's the one in which this guy kills all those dames.
Look, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, all you have to do is read the newspapers.
Do I tell you what to read, buddy?
Sorry.
I could order the book and have it day after tomorrow.
Oh, no. That'll be too late.
Well, try us again.
Sure.
Well, there's a guy with gruesome tastes.
Well, takes all kinds.
Hey, you know, he's a great Mike Stilson fan, and he thinks nobody knows it.
Who?
My boss, Captain Blake.
You're kidding.
Hey, this is the very first time I've ever seen you smile.
Oh, I smile a lot. It's just recently.
I told Captain Blake about the calls.
And?
Well, you never know. He just grunted and said, I'll stay with it. But what time do you close?
Just about now.
I'll take you home.
I live in this building, 2 flights up.
Well, how about some dinner?
Oh, you don't have to.
You asked for police protection.
Is that the reason? Line of duty?
Well, yes and no.
I'd like to. Except that, well, it's the end of the month and I'm swamped with paperwork.
Well, this neighborhood seems safe enough. It's busy.
And that diner across the street stays open all night.
Look, keep this card handy at all times. It's got a special phone number. Now use it. Anytime you're disturbed by anything at all, no matter how slight or trivial, don't feel embarrassed. Just get on the phone.
But I've already told the officers everything.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Cannon, but I just have one more question. It's very important.
What could be important? Mary's dead.
You said that Mrs. Cannon had no enemies.
I'll take that back. She had a great many enemies.
But when we asked you last night, you said she had none.
Sometimes when you think about a question, you see it in a whole new light.
Can you name some of these enemies?
She was good. She was honest.
I'm sure she was, but just tell me this. During the past 10 days or so, would the phone ring and then go dead as soon as you picked it up?
Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, it happened.
Often?
At least 2, 3, maybe 4 times a day.
I see. Is the name Alice Maitland familiar?
Alice Maitland.
Think.
Alice Maitland. You know, there is something familiar about it. The Alice Maitland.
Think of the type person with whom you could associate that name. Now, would she be a movie star, a librarian, a teacher, a woman who might own a bookstore?
No, none of those. I think of a little girl.
A little girl named Alice Maitland. Did she live in the neighborhood?
You know, these past couple of years, my memory, it just comes and goes. Right now, it's gone.
Well, if ever you remember why and how you know Alice Maitland, call the number on this card. I'll have another cup of coffee, please.
You waiting for somebody, mister?
Well, not exactly. Why do you ask?
Oh, well, you've been sitting around for hours drinking the stuff. The coffee in this joint that good?
Look, don't be frightened.
Oh, who's frightened?
Well, you are, so, just look at this.
Look. Oh, you're a cop.
Uh-huh.
You know, I was beginning to think that you could be that mad killer.
Well, it could be just about anybody. I hope I didn't scare you too badly.
Well, the truth is, I wasn't that much scared for myself.
No?
But you've just been staring at that building across the street. I got the idea you were watching for something. Are you?
Well, maybe.
Could I have change for the telephone, please? Thank you.
Now, where have I seen him before?
What did you say?
Nothing. I was just talking to myself.
You do that a lot, don't you?
Do what?
Talk to yourself.
Well, that was a short call.
She wasn't home.
Oh, it's too bad. Did you find the book?
What book?
The one by Mike Stilson.
Oh. No.
Well, keep looking.
You know the best way to stop talking to yourself?
No.
Get married.
The light went on in her room.
What's that?
He went to the booth. He only had time to dial, and the light went on in Alice's apartment.
Who's Alice?
It could be a coincidence. Wait a minute. Alice, it's Lou Parker. Did I wake you?
No. I'm up.
Did your phone ring just a minute ago?
Did it ring? Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, I'd fallen asleep, and, well, I must have been having a bad dream. I think I heard the phone, but it could have been in the dream. Anyhow, I did wake up suddenly, and I turned on the light, but I didn't hear the phone ringing anymore.
Could it have been the ringing of the phone that woke you?
I don't know. Did I hear it ring, or did I dream it was ringing? Why do you ask?
Well, I'm just checking. Anyhow, I'm glad you're okay. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Oh, that was a short phone call, too.
Yeah.
How is she?
Who?
Your girl.
How do you know I called my girl?
I told you I read character.
Do you also read the future?
Like an open book.
Well, I sure hope so. Captain, we got ourselves the killer.
Oh, how can you be sure of your guy?
I saw him in the bookshop.
Does that make him a suspect? Maybe he likes to read.
Then again in the diner. He may have been hungry. He didn't eat. He just went into the phone booth. He didn't even make a call. He was in there just long enough to let the number ring, and then he was out.
So?
So the light went on in Alice's, Miss Maitland's apartment.
You mean he called her and hung up?
Well,
what?
She isn't sure.
How can she not be sure? The phone rang or it didn't?
It isn't that simple. You see, she was asleep and she can't be sure. If it was the ringing of the phone that woke her up, or if the ringing of the phone was part of her dream.
Good luck.
Look, Captain Blake, there's something about this guy. He's young, about 30-ish, thin, blonde, a very hard line to his mouth.
Lou, I think you better report in for general duty. This case is getting to you.
Well, Captain, please.
It's no reflection. It's even to your credit. It shows you care about people.
Captain, let me have one more day.
All right, Lou. 24 hours.
I'm sorry I've caused you so much embarrassment, Lou.
That's all right.
Captain Blake is unhappy.
He'll get over it.
He thinks I'm crazy.
Well, he thinks most people are crazy.
Lou, you can't keep guarding me forever.
He has to strike at you soon. That's the pattern. He's done 4 murders in 12 days. That's one every 3 days. This is the night of the 15th day. He's due. Unless...
Unless what?
Unless I've scared him off for a while. No, keep away from your window.
Why?
Well, if he's around, we'll be tipped off. But could I have scared him away? After all, how would he know I'm a cop? You never saw him before?
Never.
We have to assume he's our killer. And what is the only thing we know about him besides his general physical description?
We know he wanted a book by Mike Stilson.
Blood on the Streets.
But he could have made that up on the spur of the moment.
People rarely make things up in the spur of the moment. He knows what he's doing. He's out to frighten you. The phone calls are a part of it. That book. There's something in it that would cause you to be frightened. But what?
I don't know. I've never read it.
Well, he figures you did. After all, you own a bookstore.
I have to sell books by Mike Stilson, but no one can force me to read them.
Well, the clue is in that book. Wait a minute. Captain Blake, it's Lou Parker.
You know it's 2 a.m.
Yes, sir, but I'm calling in the line of duty.
You live dangerously, Lou. What is it?
Captain, you've read all the books by Mike Stilson.
What?
Don't deny it, sir. It's a known fact throughout the department.
You mean you woke me up at 2 a.m. just to ask?
Line of duty, sir.
If I read those books, it's only because I get a good laugh at how unrealistic they are.
Captain, what's the story of Blood on the Streets?
Lou, I hope your patrolman's uniform still fits.
I'll be able to prove this is the line of duty. Yeah, Alice, pick up in your extension.
Well, in a nutshell, a bunch of spoiled, rotten, rich kids are kind of high. They're joyriding in this sports car, and they run down and kill this harmless old gent. The harmless old gent has a son. The son comes back from Vietnam. He swears he'll have revenge, so he shoots the joyriders one by one.
That's it?
That's it. And it better be line of duty.
Well, Alice?
No. I was never involved in anything like that.
Does it remind you of something that might be similar?
No.
But it has to. Think. I hope you don't mind if I answer your phone. Hello?
Detective?
Yes.
He's here. You know, Blondie. He's sitting at the counter. He's having a ham sandwich and a glass of milk.
Thanks.
Look, he can't see me, but I can see him. Oh, he's headed for the phone booth.
Oh, good work. We better hang up.
What is it, Lou?
Well, right now, right here and now, we're going to find out. If that telephone should ring...
Whatever his faults, and we have already witnessed a rather grievous one, at least young Peter Jackson is something of a sportsman. In his own way, he warns his intended victims. He even tries to give them clues. This time, Has he given one too many? We'll be back shortly with Act 3. What would our civilization be without the telephone? Imagine your life without it. And the way the telephone works, it requires two people to complete a call. However, some of the most eloquent conversations can be carried on when there's no one at the other end, as you shall hear.
Answer it, Alice. Answer it.
Hello? He hung up.
Now I've got him.
Where are you going?
You stay here.
Hi, Detective.
Where is he?
Blondie? Well, I told you he went into the phone booth. He didn't stay in there more than a couple of seconds, and then he ran out of here.
Did you see which way he went?
He didn't even pay his check.
Which way did he go?
Look, you got nothing to worry about. You'll get him.
What are you saying?
He ran into a cab that's usually parked outside.
All right, could you describe
I don't have to describe. I know.
Look, all I want is...
I know the cab driver. He's a school teacher for days, and he moonlights. His name is Vic Wilson.
Does he have a radio?
They all have radios. How could he make a living?
What's the company?
Oh, what a great witness I make. Jefferson. You even got the number on a card in the phone booth. Blondie's in for it, huh?
Jefferson Cabs.
This is a police call. You have a driver, Vic Wilson. He's on a job right now. The minute he checks in, have him report back to the diner at 3rd Street, to Detective Parker.
Detective Parker?
Yeah.
How do I know it's...
My badge.
Get in. Can't be too careful, that maniac running around loose.
Where'd you take your last fare?
790 Crescent.
Oh, what is it?
It's an apartment building.
How big?
6 family, I'd say.
Attached?
No, it's all by itself. There's an empty lot on either side. They're renovating the neighborhood. It's about time.
He lives there, huh?
Yeah, I've been taking him there for the last couple of days. He comes out of the diner, he gets into the camp, that's where he goes.
That's good enough.
Is he a bad boy?
Well, you wouldn't give him a star for good conduct, teacher.
Throw on those searchlights, Haggerty, and hand me that bullhorn. We know who you are, and we know you're in there. We'll give you exactly 60 seconds to come out. Walk out the front door with your hands in the air.
Keep behind the car, Lou. A nut like this one might want to take some people with him.
You've had your minute. Come out, or we'll come in.
All right, let's get in there fast. Open up, police. All right, stand to the side of the door, Lou. Cover me.
Who is it?
It's me, Lou.
Lou, what happened?
Well,
You didn't get him.
no, we didn't get him.
Maybe it was the wrong house.
No, the cab driver insists that's where he's been taking him.
Then what happened?
Oh, he's smart. He has himself dropped off at a false certain address in case he's being tailed, and then he sneaks out.
Makes sense.
Of course, Captain Blake doesn't believe a word of it.
But, Lou...
Oh, come on. 6 families live in that house. 6 ordinary, law-abiding families, and we rouse them at 5 in the morning and search the place.
How angry is Captain Blake?
Well, if he ever gets over it, I may wind up working nights in charge of the property office. Otherwise, I'm pounding a beat down along the docks.
It's my fault.
No.
How do I really know I'm in danger? Why isn't this the product of an overwrought imagination?
And the phone calls?
Coincidence.
And the guy in the bookshop? And we see him again in the phone booth just before your telephone rings?
It could all be coincidence.
I can't accept that.
But Captain Blake does.
As far as I'm concerned, you're in danger. And you're convinced of it too, aren't you?
But I don't have to be right.
We can't take any more chances. I'm going to stay here with you for another hour. By then, the stores will be open and we'll buy you a small .25 caliber revolver.
No.
I'll arrange for a permit, and I'll show you how to use it.
But I can't stand the sight of a gun.
Alice, if a man is determined to kill you, all the advantages are on his side. We have to reduce the odds.
I couldn't own a gun. I couldn't use one even if it meant saving my life.
Now, Alice, I don't want to say that sounds silly, but...
I don't think I can ever forget.
Forget what?
Well, I was standing right next to a man once who was killed by a gun.
When?
Oh, years ago. I was about 6.
Who was killed?
A very nice man. He was our grocer, Mr. Jackson. It was the day after New Year's, and Mama sent me out to buy... To this day, I remember a quart of milk, a half-pound of butter, and a jar of strawberry jam. And then this man came in. He had a gun. It was a holdup. And suddenly, there was a loud explosion and a terrible flash of light. Oh, it was terrible. Mr. Jackson fell to the floor. He was dead. And the man ran away.
Was he ever caught?
Oh, yes. Just a few hours later. I had to go to the station house to identify him.
Do you realize what you've just told me? This is it. You identified the man. He was sent to jail. Now, years later, he wants his revenge.
But that's not what happened.
No?
Well, you see, I was so frightened. I wasn't sure. I really couldn't identify him. And he went free. So why would he want to kill me now?
Then that gets us nowhere either.
The others couldn't identify him either.
The others?
Yes. There were other people, but no one was sure of him.
Now, if you had identified him and sent him to prison, it makes sense to suppose he'd want revenge, but you didn't. Now, whoever and wherever he is today, he's happy. But the fact that you failed to identify him could have made someone else unhappy.
What do you mean?
Oh, the book, Blood on the Streets. It's about a man who killed people who did his father an injury. Did this grocer have a son?
I think so. I think a little boy used to play in the store. Oh, but it's so long ago. Who could that be?
I'll take it. Hello?
Mr. Parker, it's Terry Cannon. Remember me?
Yes, Mr. Cannon.
They said I could reach you at this number. Anyhow, it came to me.
What came to you?
Well, I was trying to puzzle out why the name Alice Maitland was so familiar. Well, sir, about 23 years ago, Mary Margaret was in a grocery store, and a man was killed in a holdup. I took her down to the station house to identify the gunman.
And could she?
Well, no, sir, she really couldn't be sure. Anyhow, another one of the witnesses was a little girl. Her name was Alice Maitland. And I remember her because she was the most terrified little thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cannon. I've got you. Finally, I've got you all tied together.
Who?
You and those women who were killed all come together in a little grocery store some 23 years ago. Finally, now we know who we're looking for. I'd like to see the look on Captain Blake's face when I tell him
You won't
this.
live to see that look, friend.
Lou!
I know you got a gun in the shoulder holster. Just lay the phone down. Slow. Easy. Now, raise the hand. Slow. Easy. That's fine. Just keep him there.
I guess your name is Jackson.
Peter Jackson, Jr. You figured it out. So I figured I'd have to come back and get both of you. Hands stay up.
Well, it's too late, Peter. We know about you.
Yeah, you know about me, but the other cops don't. See, I was in the house across the street when you staged the raid. I thought I'd die laughing. I learned never to get dropped off where I live. That way you don't get surprised.
You won't get away with it.
Oh, I'll get away with it. She's the last one. I'm sorry about you, but I'll walk out of here. And who'll know it was me?
But why her? She was just a kid.
She lied.
But I didn't know. I really didn't know.
Yeah, that's what they all said, but they were lying. They were bought off. All of you were bought off.
Come on, Peter, talk sense.
My father is murdered, and the law lets a killer go free, and you want me to talk sense? Does it make sense that 5 people who were standing right there couldn't recognize him?
But I couldn't be sure. I really couldn't be sure.
My father, he never hurt a soul in his life. If a hungry person didn't have a penny in his pocket, he could still walk out of that store with a loaf of bread or a bottle of milk.
If your father was that kind of man, what would he think of you, killing innocent people?
My father believed in justice.
But you knew who the killer was. Why didn't you go after him?
Yeah, I did, but I was cheated. I spent years on his trail, and when I finally caught up with him, he was in his grave. Well, my father wasn't going to be cheated out of everything. If I couldn't have the killer, at least I could get the people who helped him.
Let me explain something.
No, you don't want to explain anything. You want to stall. You want a chance to go for your gun. Well, you won't get it. See, I'll kill you first, and then her. There's such a thing in this world as justice. If the law won't give it to you, then you make your own.
And that's why you're doing this? For justice?
That's right.
That's wrong. You're doing it because you love to kill.
That's a lie.
It's the truth. Look at yourself. Look at how you're enjoying this.
I'm doing what has to be done.
You killed those 4 women and you enjoyed it.
You have 30 seconds to live. Say your prayers.
How long do you think you have to live? You're going to keep killing and you'll be caught. You can't stop.
I hate killing.
Come on. You love to see people under the gun, how they squirm and sweat. You're eating this up. Look at your face in that mirror. Look at that grin. Like a wolf. See how flushed and excited you are. Look at yourself. Look. I'm going to break your arm. Drop it.
Very good work, Lou. Very good. One more second and we would have had to gun him down. This way we can take him home alive.
Captain Blake.
Somehow, I'm going to get back here. Get back to you, Miss Alice Maitland. I'll keep my promise.
Haggerty, Gordon, cuff him. Hustle him back to headquarters.
Look, Alice, don't worry about him.
You all right, Miss Maitland?
Yes, I think so.
You shouldn't be. It was a rough experience.
Why did you come back, Captain?
Well, I guess we both solved it, Lou. You broke it by pure and simple brain work. I waited for a miracle.
Oh, did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. I got it because of this little machine. Mary Cannon was killed in an office. She managed somehow to throw the switch on a dictating machine. A secretary came into work this morning, and she heard Peter Jackson, and she didn't stop running till she got to my desk. Listen.
His name is Jackson. Peter Jackson. They'll catch you, Peter. They'll catch you.
Number 4, Mrs. Mary Margaret Cannon. Number 5, coming up, Miss Alice Maitland.
You see, Lou? There's your whole story.
Of course, that isn't our whole story. For instance, you might want to know what happened to Peter Jackson. He's in a hospital for the criminally insane. For his sterling leadership in cracking the case, Captain Blake will probably become the next chief of police. Detective Parker will probably become Detective Sergeant Parker. And Miss Alice Maitland will probably become Mrs. Lou Parker. So you see, sometimes we can give you a happy ending. I'll be back shortly. The story you have just heard was concerned with the most precious concept the human race has ever created, justice. And when you think of Peter Jackson, perhaps he proves the point made by a great poet. When a man takes justice in his own hands, he will soon shape her to his own ends. Our cast included Tony Roberts, Susan Grossman, Jack Grimes, Bryna Raeburn, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Central Ohio's favorite music is on 1230 WCOL Columbus.
Thank you for listening to and showing your support for my podcast. If you would like to receive notifications of when new episodes are posted, please subscribe to my channel. Subscriptions are 100% free, and they really help me get an idea of how I'm doing. Well, hope you enjoyed, and until next time, stay safe. Wish you well, and as always, peace.